Nasambu being from that is page 47. Nasambu being a keen listener, she listened and gave ears carefully to her teachers and observed all her given instructions. That's why all her teachers liked her more. She also prioritized discipline as a core value in whatever she engaged herself with. Her listening character attracted boys' attention, and that she became beloved so much that they forgot as she worked on their buttocks for some display. You know, a man always feels very nice whenever a woman gives him an ear. A man feels appreciated. His heart will pump a little more vibrant with some joy. A strong heartbeat for the stethoscope, and enthusiastically he might have his request considered for the first, and his deal equally might soon be sealed and possibly be offered some place, a fallow ground or a pure land for cultivation in that very night. That's what goes in the mind of a boy or a man. That's the very same behavior I had also noticed and observed from our latest mother, Jemtai, that she was quite easily to listen to. She could give ears to boys. That very queer behavior had also been observed with Jebet, our latest mother, in our father's compound. She used to lean forward and listen carefully whenever talking to boys, men, and the people even old to her age, but much more when she had conversation with Kamau, the shopkeeper. She actually pulled herself very close before the shop counter so that their heads came very close, such that they discussed at a very low tone to make a very big secret between two big fools. She was such a secretive. It was such a secret that the walls of the neighbors will not even capture a single word from their mouth. Perhaps they discussed to meet overnight. Njoroke, the son to Kamau, had always observed his father offering better services to his customers. He never demanded, Kamau never demanded much from the regular customers, such as Chebet. She was such a daily customer, and therefore he will not mind so much money from her. Sometimes he will dish out goodies to her. Therefore, Njoroke observed, he actually copied and also practiced it to his friend. A friend like him, Moses, who often came by to check on Njoroke, took advantage of that and would actually swindle things from the shop. All human beings will always do something to survive. And as for me, life was hard, so I had to do something also to earn something. But as for me, I began to supply foodstuffs to the shop of Mr. Kamau. That's when I also found friendship with Njoroke. Therefore, whenever I also needed something, I popped into their shop and requested. Njoroke picked it from his father's shop and offered me sometimes for free. Perhaps, after all, they were rich, and a small portion from their shop will not bring down the business. How about Moses? He had realized the taste of Njoroke. He would like to taste some little busa. Therefore, Njoroke will taste a little bit of busa, and Moses perfected on that. He actually kept visiting him every now and then with a cup of busa. Njoroke, you must taste this one. It's much more sweeter than yesterday. That's how he befriended him and became close ties of a tick and a cow. It's inseparable. And for that, also whenever Moses required something from the shop, nothing will be denied of him. Njoroke will simply dish him out. Back at home, I will find Lillian walking all alone as she went down to the river to fetch water. Maybe her sister Nasambu has been left behind in the Moses cage, Moses house. So I also find Lillian all alone and perhaps took advantage of that. My sister, you look bored with life. What has come over you that you are out of your sister's company? I inquired as I tried to move closer, perhaps at a close range. Few years will get to hear our talks. Again, she might feel the warmth of my handshake. As I tried to tickle my fingers in her palm, she might realize my dire need for her. In any case, we were only two of us precisely within Myogo forest. Myogo are cassavas, forest. They will make a forest. We will actually engage and perform our things there. In the forest. Nyangwezo, mind your business. You think I'm the kind of cheap girls you go around fleeting? I mean, Nalieka is there for you. I heard nowadays you also sleep with Nasambu, my sister. You've been dating her. How about millions of girls we've not seen, but you've knocked them down in the forest? Lillian will not give for my explanation. Rumors had all spread, regardless of my pure devotion for the good name of my dignity. I had never played in any woman. As for her, she was probably my second trial after Nalieka, my only one, and maybe Anyango. So those were the two only women I had actually had engaged myself with for love. Only the other woman I've ever tried to seduce. Nasambu had been pure my study mate. Here comes allegation that she has been my second girlfriend after Nalieka. That is what happened. Nasambu woke up very early to wash her beddings. She had urinated all the night. She was a grown-up, but still had a loose bladder. Therefore, she actually urinated. Such pity for her, she had grown into a woman, yet her bladder system failed to keep urine still the appointed moment to release. Lillian chuckled her. Hey, sister, did it rain in your bed alone? It never rained yesterday. How comes your beddings have been watered? Don't mind my sister. My kids here dreams a lot and urinate as though they are in playground. Nasambu tried to conceal her shame. Aha! You can't lie to me. That urine smells of an old woman. Engololo. I fermented and fumes of a long time preserved water in a grown-up bladder. Someone's bladder like of yours, never osmoregulated in the kidney and thoroughly subjected to absorption. No? My sister, you have a problem. What will happen of you once you get married? Will you wash your husband? I don't think that a man will spare a slap to that fat chick of yours once you wash him. Lillian emphasized the need for her sister to seek medics. Slap who? I won't let any man slap me. We will fight and wrestle to the ground. Anyway, my sister, this is a problem I have battled for years. Let's get to Mr. Machanche tomorrow. Perhaps he can offer some remedies for me. Nasambu replied. Can you fight men? Don't presume the school discipline you offer to children will actually wrestle with muscled men out there. You should have seen me taking down with Nyangwe, so. As for me, I'm strong. Yesterday, you should have seen me taking down with Nyangwe, so. The other. Can you imagine? Such an old man requested me to sleep with him. I mean, boys of these days have grown bad-mannered. They do not mind their age and sleep with their babies. I slapped him. Again and again, I will do so if he tries his stupid moves for me. What? I thought he was strong. To my surprise, he began crying as I bullied him down on the ground and sat over him, gave him some few slaps before he began pleading for mercy. I will have killed him. Lillian confirmed what she had been taking boys for. I mean, she never joked with the boys. Unless for someone special she would prefer to sleep with, that's when she will give in. But many boys and men actually feared her because she will actually wrestle with them. She was a heavy woman also, and actually overpowered weak and unable boys to wrestle. Like me, I fail actually to wrestle her. A liar, that's a true liar. You can't tell me Nyangwezo also eyes girls around. Ask me, I will tell you the kind of Nyangwezo, the man I know. I mean, this guy advocates more of his time for books than going around for girls. You should have asked me how I brought Zakayo down to his knees. Can you imagine? A whole man to the age of my grandfather had pinned me down for sex. I tell you, I never felt like never before. I thought he was such a strong man, he began crying like a baby. Nasambu also came in to emphasize what she had actually also gone through and insisted on her mind the way she understood Nyangwezo. After all, her sister knew how she wrestles men, especially as for those who are school dropouts. They will actually fight them. They will not give in for villagers lest they ruin their morals and destroy their education. I mean, the two girls fought after men. Whoever came for men moves for love. Now that drizzles had begun, Zakayo had to do something, otherwise he would die hungry. Very early he pushed off his wife to wake up. Her 4 kids also took the small-sized pin to do something in the farm. Lucky enough, the soils were soft and gave them little difficulty to dig. He raised and lowered. After several of them, he stood and looked behind. Just a few years he had managed to dig. Nasibwoni, why don't you do something? Quicken up your pace. You see me, I'm going to finish my part before noon. Talk of working all through to the afternoon. Actually, Nasibwoni collapsed to the very position she had begun since in the morning. Zakayo pitied her and asked her to go home and do something in the kitchen now that she could not farm anymore. Zakayo was left alone in the farm. He tried harder to do something more. Lillian and her mother had also been doing something in the neighborhood farm. Occasionally they threw glances, waved for greetings and continued on their course. Mama Andonina had 2 daughters, Nasambu and Lillian. They were actually determined to finish their farm. They had been doing so for weeks, and some places, just a small piece, had remained for them to finish up. They were determined to finish up their farm. Andonina! Mzee Chako called out for his wife. Stretching and yawning, brushed off a glue that had failed to come off his eyelid. Won't I take my breakfast today? I will be late for the meeting. What sort of meeting? If not going to louse around by the roadside. Men of these days are lazy. You can't tell them to do something in the farm. Mama Andonina will speak for herself. After all, women are also used to that. They will work and do everything for their men. But she actually talked in a very low tone. Her man will not hear what she was talking. She actually murmured. She won't speak loud for Mzee Chako to hear, lest she received kicks and blows for speaking nonsense before her man. Just a minute, please. Andonina responded to the call of her husband. Nasambo, hurry up and get me some water. Your father must be hungry, you know? Yeah, you know how gluttony is. I don't want to observe his lion face. Once he becomes hungry, he's always angry. He's a madman, Do it quick. and ran to the river. Fetch me some water. I must prepare him tea before things become worse. She also left the djembe and went back home to prepare something. Lilian, who had actually been left alone, she continued to finish up the remaining pan. But her eyes will actually observe Zakaya, who was also scorning eyes to her time and again. She turned off and faced the other side, gave him the behinds to see. She had a target in her mind, exposed bit of her bottoms that made Zakaya wonder the world within the cycle. Both of them were left alone. Zakaya approached and questioned her why. She had always hated him despite the fact they were neighbors, and again, he had never caused any harm to her. She had actually evaded his approaches on several occasions. Your wife will kill me if she noticed that we are friends. Nalaka sputtered some words to defend her innocence. She never hated him but feared the wrath of his wife. If then, I beg you do it slowly, she said firmly with new strength and authority. She looked at him in his eyes, now reaching out to him, decided to open his heart for a minute, at least unlock the secret of her power over men and fate. She held him balanced at her fingertip and certainly knew her power over him. She would not let him go and pull him for herself. Zakaya was helpless, a panting dog. Zakaya managed to touch her on a few places and observed the reaction of a willing dog. She could actually not protest. He pushed her to the ground. The Myogo forest, the Kasa forest, had overgrown and all around offered some enough privacy within the few available minutes for them, the two salivating dogs. You can imagine a hungry dog at the sight of a nice meal, having denied on several occasions. At first, blood warmed in her veins. Fear was mixed with pleasure and she felt awkward. She grew a little apprehensive and a sudden wave of change crossed her mind. You bastard, you're such a man who can sleep on her daughter, eh? With no sense. Can't you feel ashamed of yourself? You want us to give birth to more bastards? Get off me or I shout at the top of my voice. She actually tried to defend herself. Zakaya pulled off her top, a bra of her gold skin, and hid it beside himself. Look at this insensible girl. Are you serious of what you want to do? Go ahead. Stand up and shout at as you wish. The whole community will see your nakedness. Even your father will come observe the whole of you. With the way you're fat, from top down to the toe, he will see the whole of your nakedness and everything within you. Aha! Go ahead and shout. After sensing her defeat, she calmed and observed the remaining with pleasure. Now, you will wait until I'm gone, then you can also make your way home. Is that fine? Zakaya tried to tell her on what to do. It's okay. We shall meet later. Lillian responded with the hopes of a repeat of the same episode. Zakaya dashed into the nearby sugarcane grass to emerge in the far end and join the path that led to their homestead. Some few yards inside the sugarcane forest, he bumped into some two naked dogs, also doing something in the forest, an interruption that ignited fury to both the naked helpless dogs. You fool! How dare you follow your father's footprints, even to the toilet? You want to watch your father as he pisses off, yeah? Foolish boy. Embelekeu. Foolish boy. Mind your business and walk your ways. Mzee Nyongeza retorted at the top of his fury. You want to see what your father does? He's such a rough and tough guy, eh? Nonsense. Get your dirty nose off this place quickly. He's more tough than you think. I don't mind if you do also follow his footsteps. Then all these girls in the village will be treated to their nerves. You see, your father is such an expert. Chemtai interjected to add something to the hotly debated discussion in the forest there. Zacchaeus stumbled to march forward, almost falling forward. He met me on a head-on collision on the other side of the forest. While I was on my way back home to get something surely for my stomach, of course Lennox had taken over to look after our cattle. Mukhwasi, my in-law, good morning. What's the matter? That you stumbled from the bush? It's nothing, Mukhwasi, my in-law. Nothing so stupid at all. It's just my father with somebody inside here talking. Zakai found it difficult to explain himself, but something fascinated me since I already knew what had always been happening. In fact, it was a daily thing. Don't mind them, Gwazi. They might be having something serious to talk about. A hot discussion, you know. Out here it's too hot and with many eyes observing. Leave alone the mouthpieces of the villagers. They will make a topic and make a story to talk about all over the village. Maybe your father needed some privacy, you know, and to discuss something so serious. But anyway, how is Naliak at home? And your mother? Still breathing well? Already I had read his mind, and it was of no use to humiliate my friend for that awkward thing his father had always engaged himself in. Again, that was not necessary. To keep watch over their moves rather than work over on my personal things. It doesn't not fascinate me at all. Only Naliaka would have stirred the anger in me if something suspicious will be mentioned of her. Maybe having an affair with another boyfriend. That will break my heart. Recreate and relive images of another man lying on my woman. That will break my nerves. So to clear off the air, I made quick moves and attempted to change the topic. You ask of Naliaka and my mother. Are you not satisfied with Naliaka? That you want to also to visit on my mother? Both of them. Yeah? Consume the chick and you also want to eat the whole of the chicken as well. How about the eggs? Won't you fry them to burn in the cooking pan? You must check on your eating appetite, my friend. Wrapping up both the mother and the daughter was, won't you have manners for yourself, by the way? Naliaka is still such a young and tender, perfect and sweet, very sweet indeed, than our brown sugar again. Mukhwasi, you do enjoy a lot. I wish I was born to your shoes. I will walk around a proud man, confident to have not hooked up with a girl of my size. Isn't it true, Mukhwasi, that you enjoy a lot? You know, I don't lie. So make sure you prepare better balls for me for the bride price. Zakai tried to explain that I was asking for her, for the mother, besides, instead of asking for Naliaka, that maybe I befriend both the mother and the daughter. Not at all, no, Mukhwasi. As long as we live, we shall eat the goods of the land. When time comes, indeed you'll find your boots ready for you. Mukhwasi, you mean also that you can also sleep with your own sister? How dare you admire Naliaka, your sister, but the way she's come to a baby. Anyway, let me get home quick, you know. Today's match will be tough in the field. I need to score some goals today. Something today must go inside. Remind Naliaka not to forget her promise and pass by, yeah? I made my words as I tried to move on. Hey, it's fine, Mukhwasi. She must be making her breakfast now. You do also want to score her today? Mukhwasi, are you ready to nurse her and the baby? If you score her today, I would love to see you carry a baby in your arms. You know, my sister is still young and do not know how to handle a baby by her arms. Will you mind to breastfeed her also? I guess her breast has not yet even developed to the full. How about carrying her womb just for a day before she also develops strength to carry her babies in her stomach? Man, I tell you to be ready and prepare for an unprecedented challenge. You ought to find an old woman than flitting around with my sister. She's still young and toddler. Zakai tried to retort things in his mind. Anyway, greet her for me. I must be on my way. As I tried to make my attempts to brush him off, such was that's irrelevant things to talk with him. It was necessary to argue with a fool. Play with a fool and you dirty up your reputation. After hard work for days to build up your good name, such a fool will bring it down in one day. Naleka never accepted me for something. I actually broke her virginity. Still, she remembers the man who tirelessly seduced her from her innocence and managed to introduce her to the world of sex. Maybe I was as well new to that field, but there was no place to find lessons, schools for young and premature sex. Maybe Googled to find some hints, or nowhere I will not find anywhere for sex education. Therefore, we lived in the dark days, but bit by bit, I learned to handle my woman, and later resorted to practice that led to perfection. Talk of the devil, it appears. She had the qualities of a queen. No need for makeups to project her inequalities. A small rounded woman emerged from the river, balanced on her head a pot of water. She could smile at the sight of seeing me. I did also feel her warmth. My heart danced to the West African tum-tum drums. I felt everything was welcomed. Won't you mind helping me out? Won't you mind to help me out, you boy? Lucky that you're a boy that you just loiter around to find food on the table. I wish I was born with your pointing to what she had actually missed, something between my laps. Ha ha ha. You guys don't understand. Such things entails weight and responsibility. You do not carry it for nothing, or work with it aimlessly. It must perform to the duty, and as well carry the burdens and responsibility thereafter. After inflating a woman, I will be required to take her and marry her. You women are weak. What if you faint or hurt your legs? I'll be required to carry you, the whole of you, over my shoulder and find some place for you to rest. How about me? Do you have some strength even to assist me in times of my trouble? No. We men, we are strong.